Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome to all the guests. Please read anonymously. This is a crazy ma'isa. Last week I got a check from the IRS for overpayment on tax. I decided to give the ma'isa to MDY. Anyway, I decided to give ASAP this week because when I was learning the parsha of Yaakov Avinu, Bekitzer, you mentioned the concept this week of Maisa, which triggered me giving the MDY. Then I realized the gematria of Leo, which is me, I guess, is 52. It's the same as Lecha. Lecha is 50, but with the Koilel is 52. Hence the donation to rebellion, the Koilel. Then I said, hey, maybe his name is Eliezer, not Elio. So over Sukkot he missed a few daf. My chavrus is in Eretz Yisrael, so I'm using the time to catch up. On daf, kuf, whatever. Yes, kasha. 100 on daf, kuf of ksubas, chalamoid sukkahs. You say middle shir. Today's the Vilna Goyen's yard side. I'm named Elio after the Vilna Goyen. There was my answer. A kiss from Hashem. Passing the kiss of a kitzer. He sponsored today. Big fan. No, he's not. He's in the middle of chalamoid. Big fan of the shir from Baltimore. Even sponsored the shir in honor of my son's chasana on January 11th. Baruch Hashem, my son and daughter-in-law had a beautiful baby girl, and I'm coming to Eretz Yisrael. I'd like to attend the shir. I'm reading this because we get emails like this almost every day. What is the address? Maybe it doesn't have Google. Nachal Noam 9. Any tips for travel from Yerushalayim? Well, I have a tip. Whoever's here from Yerushalayim, Shalom Aleichem. How you doing, guests? Shalom Aleichem. If you're here from Yerushalayim, there are people that usually need a ride back to Yerushalayim. So they usually get rides. So that's on the way back, usually get a ride. Way in, I don't know, we have to do something on the new app. Rides to MDY. Any days, Rebelli won't be around. Thanks in advance. David Mitnick. Here's a good one. This is Rabbi said this is a good one. This comes with a video. This morning, one of the best videos I've ever seen. This morning I had a nest, and I contribute this nest to me having turned on the shear literally 3 minutes before this happened. I hope the video I sent came through clearly. I was driving my daily, he's a bus driver, from Muncie Trails. It's the bus that goes from Muncie to Brooklyn. 6:45 a.m. from Muncie to Midtown and Williamsburg from Muncie Trails, Williamsburg. All of a sudden, a car shot across all traffic lanes right in front of me. I didn't have a shoulder on the right to use as an escape because the school bus was there. You'll see it in the video. The amazing Siyata Shemaya managed to swerve just enough to avoid the car in the parked school bus, keep my bus under control. The video doesn't do justice to understand how sketchy it was. If I hadn't slowed down early on the highway for 2 seconds, it took to turn on the shear. That car would have been driven right into me. I shudder to think what about. Thank you for giving me a way to be Mekayim v'lechtacha b'derech. I'm mechuyev to ditch music on the morning trip after today. Your Talmud, Moshe Bron, Amaritz 1, Muncie, Beitza. I guess he has that license plate. Amaritz, Muncie, Beitza. Now here comes the video. What's amazing about this video is that he's wearing an MDY cap. Check it out. You see it? I don't see it. Oh, you guys see it. Here's his cap. It's a beautiful video. And that's because he was watching this year, Rabbi Isai, with his MDY cap. It's not bad. You guys want to see it again, right?
Save their lives.
Look at this. Look, it's mamish saying this. Shkoyach. I know it's a lot of work, but all daf only has the shear from daf, Erevin daf Kuf Beis. For someone like me trying to make up what we missed during COVID, it would be helpful if every daf from the beginning of brachas can be added. Ari Klugman. Now, Yosef yesterday added literally 100 dafim to all daf. Bekitzer, we're going to be up and running all the way from brachas because of Yosef Eliak's hard work. What?
I got a message from one of the guys at Uda.
Yeah.
They got a lot of emails of people saying, what's going on? They got pinged 400 times with the new share.
There's new.
We're having to fix that before I finish up the last one.
Okay, Rabbi is saying, good. But Yishkoyach Yosef. The Koilel is sponsored. May we always be able to support Torah. May the Torah protect us from any harm. The Koilel for one day. In honor of Rabbi Eliyahu and the Koilel, Aser Asren Aloch, Eliyahu is Gematria Loch, Ima Koilel. Mesechta, Ein Zgula Katorah Vein Tומכיה כיעקב ויעל. The Paras HaChodesh, Li'nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe, Li'nishmas בּצלאל ben Moshe. And for Parnasei Hayoim, Mayor Kleiner, Ya'Yakov ben Michal, and by Moshe Bron, as a thank you to Hashem for guiding me to avoid a serious accident while driving. By Donnie Kelaty. Do you guys know that Donnie Kelaty watches this year? Where?
Yeah, he tells me whenever I'm not here.
Huh? No. Mapito.
Who's Donnie Kelaty?
Where's Danny? It's not here. You learn Danny. Okay, but he's part of this year and he should come. He should come in person. He lives in Bet Shemesh. In honor of my 50th birthday. And learning many more years with Rav Eli. I don't know if he has a 2-month birthday like mine, but kids, maybe today is his birthday. Dovid Mueller, in honor of my father-in-law, Rabbi Yaakov Moshe ben Rabbi Yosef alav shalom. My father-in-law listened to the Daf Yomi shir 3 times a day. Hebrew, Yiddish, and Rav Eli shir. My father-in-law said Rav Eli shir is the dessert. Wow. And the art, Yoshi's art. The first month of art is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. Schus for his nieces Shiduchim. We had somebody that said he wanted to sponsor 3 months of art. 3 months. So if it works, great. And we could double it up. We could triple it up. It's not gonna. Don't worry. It's gonna go to great places. Could be 5 sponsors for the art. Rabbi said we have a lot to accomplish here today. We're starting from Daf Lamed Hey Amud Beis. Let's just go through what we learned yesterday. So, Siyum in Miami. Oh, Siyum in Miami. I'm supposed to announce this. Talking about the Siyum in Miami, because it's very cost prohibitive. It's very, very expensive to do a Siyum in Miami. You know, it's Miami. So they're asking the Olam if anybody wants to be mishtatev as a corporate sponsor, 5,000, 10,000 to enable the Hamoinam to afford it. And before they announce the ticket prices, they're looking for sponsors. So Yishkoyach, what's the website? And you can call Michael Ben Chitrit directly. It's on the screen. Not a great idea, whatever. Don't spam him. What? MiamiSiyum@gmail.com.
All the rich people in Israel should pay for me.
Yosef. Okay. What is... Great. I have no idea where I am. Should we say hello to the guests? We have plenty of time here. What's your name, Tzaddik?
Yaman Jeremiah.
Beyond Jeremiah, Shalom Aleichem. You?
Nothing short.
Nachum Shor from?
Ya'Yakov.
You learn Yeshiva in Yerushalayim. Okay, who else? These guys I know. Who? Okay, these guys, great. Really?
Yeah.
What's farm? This Bach is Mechavis Svarim. Oh, he finished shas.
Yeah.
He finished shas. I know, he finished shas. Wow. Zoom in on him. Bach, how old are you? 19, 2 months. He doesn't need a shidduch, but he's finished shas. Rabbi says, check this out. I'm kidding. Whatever. The shadchan are running after him like crazy. Okay. Zok the Heilig Gemara. So we had a question yesterday. Is a shliach? Oh, we have Yossi Klein, but he's not a guest. We have a bunch of others. We will go through them later if we have time. And we have Dr. Epstein, of course. He just came back from America. The chassan's in the house. Okay, Givaldi. Woo! So we had a question. Is a Kohen who does your carbon for you, is he your agent or HaKadosh Baruch Hu's agent? Is he your shliach or HaKadosh Baruch Hu's shliach? So we brought a raya from our Mishnah. Our Mishnah has karbanos. You see, in the list over here, there's karbanos in the blue, karbanos in the red. Karbanos in the blue are regular karbanos, chata, sarla, asham. Then you have a type of carbon called the mechusar kippurim. These are karbanos that a woman who gives birth brings, a zav, zava, a matzayra. The function of this carbon is to allow you to eat kachim, to allow you to go into the Beis HaMikdash. You took care of everything you need to do. You went to the mikvah, and then you have to wait until the following morning in order to bring a carbon. It's called the mechusar kippurim. You're missing kapara. You're missing the ability to go into the Beis HaMikdash. But it's very different than the category on the right. The category on the right is for the whole carbon comes if somebody was chayta, he has an aveira, he sinned, he has to bring a carbon. If you notice, the Mishnah only talks about the list on the left, the red list. If somebody's mudar anar from you, if you are not allowed to benefit from a kohen, the kohen is permitted to bring your birds. If you're a zav, zava, yeledes. So you see from here, why doesn't the Mishnah say a regular carbon? The Mishnah should say oila chatas. Why does the Mishnah talk about kinei zavim, which is not so whatever? It's usually when we talk about a carbon, we talk about a chatas, an oila, the common karbanas. The reason is because when it comes to mechusar kippurim, you don't need das. You don't need the ratzon of the person that needs to bring the carbon. You can bring a carbon for a zav, zava without their consent. So it's a different category. That's why the Mishnah brings it. But if you do need consent, then the kohen wouldn't be allowed to bring it for you because you can't benefit from that kohen. Adarab, you see from the Mishnah, that a kohen is doing your job. He's your agent, not Hashem's agent. If he was Hashem's agent, he should be able to bring any carbon for you. The ones on the right, the ones on the left. The fact that he cannot bring the ones on the right proves that he's your agent. And if he's your agent, he's doing you a favor. But that's only the ones on the right. The ones on the left, he's not doing you a favor because I don't need your consent. If I don't need your consent, so anybody could do it for me, nobody's doing me a favor by doing it for me. Yeah? You chapping or not chapping? Okay, good. So, says the Gemara. But the Gemara sticks in that it says the words by a zav, zois toiras hazav. The word toiras teaches us bein gadol, bein katan. I don't need consent. A katan cannot give consent. I don't need his consent. I just bring a carbon for a katan because the word toiras means everybody. We have to learn something from the word toiras. It comes to include even a katan. So you see that when it comes to a zav, I don't need consent. If I don't need consent, it's not really hana for him, for me bringing a carbon for him, but that's only that category. Okay, now the Gemara goes into that line. There's another place that says the word Tairas. Zois Tairas Hayeledes. You have it like 10 lines from the bottom of Lamed Hey Amud Beis. Hayeledes. A woman who gives birth, it says Tairas. What does Tairas mean? Tairas means even a ktana. Now, that's the sugi we had a number of times. Could a ktana give birth? Can a ktana give birth? If it comes to include a ktana, that means if a ktana gave birth, one is permitted to bring her kabbanis without her consent. Well, it doesn't make any sense because a ktana can't give birth according to the Gemara, and we'll explain it. Ktana bas lady, could a ktana even give birth? How could it include somebody, and only a ktana it comes to include, and this ktana can't even fit in this category. Ktana cannot give birth. There are 3 women who are mechuyev to use contraceptive to avoid pregnancy. Ktana, umuberes, a woman who's pregnant, umenika, a woman who's nursing. Ktana, why is she mechuyev to shemat esaber v'tabas? Because if she gets pregnant, she will die. When we had the suging subas, and before also, we always had, but you see, go on the news and you'll see there are girls in America, I know for a fact, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-and-a-half-year-olds. So you see, a ktana could give birth. So we're coming up with all sorts of pshatim. The Ran says over here beautifully. Listen to this chap. If she gives birth, she's not a ktana. If she's 10 years old and she gave birth, then she's a 10-year-old g'dayla. She has simanim. That's it. The eilecha simanim g'dayla mizu. If a girl is capable of giving birth, you don't have to be 12 years old to be a g'dayla. You have to have simanim. And if you gave birth, you're a g'dayla when you're 10 years old. So that answers all these things. It's very good. Why you give me those eyes? 12 years old means we don't know whether or not she has simanim. But she has simanim. That's it. She's a g'dayla. Akapan a ktana cannot give birth. Says the Gemara, you're right. What? First of all, we don't know. We don't know what she is. Because if she is, if she gave birth, she's a gedayla. Let's say if she gave birth, she could die just from pregnancy. Yeah. No, we're saying in the Rishonim say Shema. Shema doesn't mean maybe. Shema means Thomas. Okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah. He says the Gemara, what was our whole question? Because the word Tairas is extra. And the word Tairas comes to say Ktana. Says the Gemara, no, not necessarily. Even it comes to say, if the wife, if the yoledes is a shaita, then the husband could bring a carbon for her. He needs to bring a carbon for her. Why? Because he's married to her and she's tmeya. In order for her not to be a tmeya, he has to bring a carbon. Maybe carbon. Rabbi Yehuda says that a person can bring a carbon for his wife. Now, I have a question. If a husband is a millionaire and the wife, or let's say if a carrot, it doesn't matter. Let's say the wife has a job. She doesn't make so much money. The husband is very wealthy. He makes a lot of money. Now, a yoledes could bring a carbon oila v'yared. It depends how wealthy she is. If she's very wealthy, she'll bring a regular animal. If she's poor, she'll bring a bird. What kind of carbon does a woman whose husband is very wealthy but she's not, what kind of carbon does she bring? The expensive one or the cheap one that she could afford? And then here's the question. What? Credit card. So, and in this case, where the husband is bringing it for her, does he bring what he can afford or what she can afford? And the answer is, it doesn't go by the woman, it goes by the husband in all cases, and that's what the Gemara says right over here. He has to bring a carbon what he could afford, not what she could afford, the expensive carbon. And any carbon that she's chayiv, it's not just the mechusik purim karbanas, but even a carbon, whatever it is. If she's chayiv a chatas because she's michal Shabbos, he brings the carbon for her. Shekach kaisevla, and this is what he writes there in a ksuba v'achrais the islich alai min kadmas dina. Fine. Now, what about if a woman she promises Hashem, she says, "I'll bring a oila." Why? Because I feel like it. Does the husband have to bring it? In the ksuba it says, "Achrais the islich alai." Anything that you're chayiv, I have to bring. He's mechuyev to bring it for her. She comes along and she says, I want to give an adava to Hashem, a oila. Does the husband have to give it or not? You say no, why not?
She can't be mechayiv him on his chassan.
Oh, so if you look, very good. It says no, she cannot be mechayiv him on his, well, she was mechal Shabbos, she was just mechayiv his nechasim. Nobody asked her to be mechayiv. Does b'shoy, fine. So there's a taisis over here on Lam Vav Amud Aleph, towards like the middle, and he says a beautiful lashon. Any woman could destroy her husband, literally. All she has to do is say, I want to bring 25 oilas today, and tomorrow another 25 oilas, and every oila costs $1,000, and that's it, he's gone. He's a goner. He's mechuyev to pay for it. So we say, a carbon neder, nedava, not. Says the Gemara, Moshe Rav Shimi Berabba, top of Lamid Vav Amud Aleph. Im haya koyin, yizrek olav dam chatasoi v'dam hashamay. Now I want to bring a raya. That what? I want to bring a raya whether or not a kohen is your agent or a Kadosh Baruch Hu's agent. It says in a brisa that a kohen should pour the dam. Here's a picture. He sprinkles the dam of the chatos and the asham on the mizbeach for the Yisrael. Now, I just want to point out that the Gemara is asking from a brisa. This is what Reb Dovid asked yesterday. It says Mefurish in the Mishnah that a kohen could bring a chatas and asham. So what's the answer? Why doesn't the Gemara bring from our own Mishnah and from the brisa instead of bring from the brisa? Because our Mishnah is talking about what? This category right over here. The last one on the left side in the red is a metzora. A metzora brings a chatas and an asham. So we could easily say that it fits right into the category. The Mishnah says zav yeledes chatas and asham, referring to a metzora. It's just in that category, and therefore I have no proof anymore. But I'm going to a brisa, and I'm asking from the brisa. It doesn't talk about it in the brisa at all about a mechusik kiburim, and it says the kohen can bring a chatas and asham. Why would I say and force myself to say, oh, you know what kind of chatas and asham? We're talking about a metzora. No, it's a regular carbon, a chatas and asham. Yet it says that a kohen could do it for you. Dam. So what do you see? You see from here that he's Hashem's agent. Hashem told him to do it. He's not doing you a favor at all, and therefore that's why he could do it. So the Gemara says, no, we're going to be forced. Now we're forced to say, we push it off and say, we're talking about again a Mechusar Kippurim, and in a Mechusar Kippurim we said we don't need his consent, we don't need that. The word Torah, what does Torah mean? Even a katan. So ben gadol or ben katan, you don't need consent, and if you don't need consent, you're not doing the guy a favor at all. Anybody off the street could do it. So certainly the Kohen could do it. Says the Gemara. We learned in the Mishnah. We didn't have time, but eventually we're going to get to it where Yoshua Beis Hashem draw pigul. It's a concept that people get scared of, but we have it so many times in shas, over and over. We're all used to it already. Almost everybody, besides the new guys maybe. Pigul. There are 4 avodas that a kohen performs when he shechs an animal. First he does shchita, then he receives the blood. You can show it on the screen, Gary. Then he does Kabbalah. He receives the blood, and then he does halacha. He walks with the blood to the mizbeach, and then when we showed before the zrika, the final thing. In all 4 of those avodas and those actions, during the action, the kohen could have a bad thought. What's a bad thought when it comes to a carbon? A thought that this carbon is going to be eaten after its allotted time. In other words, a carbon typically, let's say a shlam, you eat it for 2 days and a night. He thought himself, let's say he wanted to mess up the Yisrael. He hates that guy. He sees the Yisrael coming with a big fat carbon that costs him $1,000. He says, no problem, I'll do it for you. He shechs, and while he shechs, he says, okay, we're going to eat this carbon in 4 days from now. That's past its time. He just ruined the carbon. He destroyed the carbon, take the carbon, throw it in the garbage. That's all in the head. But it has to be done during shchita. If there's a pause between shchita and Kabbalah, you can't think then. It has to be by Kabbalah, by halacha. Let's say they walked to the mizbeach and then they took a 5-minute break. During the 5 minutes, you can't think about it. It has to be during I'm just throwing in another thing. Fine. Now, the halacha is like this. A kohen who thought this bad thought. Mezidin chayavim. Okay, we'll go back to that point later. This efshar mishi'i efshar. We learned it, but we'll talk about it later. So, mezidin chayavim. If the kohen wanted to mess up the Yisrael just to make him lose $1,000, so he's chayiv to pay $1,000 to the Baal Bayis. He just ruined $1,000 of the Yisrael. He paid. Hashagigim p'turim.
Can't the Kohen say
Ella? No, he admits. I don't know what. Yeah, of course. No. So then it says it's not pigul. That's not pigul. He wants to mess him up. He says, I was mefagel it. If he doesn't say it.
That's my Rosh.
Okay, we'll talk about it when we get to Zvachim. I'll go up on him. I hear. We're waiting Zvachim. We learn this every day. Pigul.
What you answered then?
What did I answer then? But you for sure asked it, you're saying. Okay. Hashagim p'turim. But if he did it by mistake, you don't have to pay the $1,000. Ella shepigulim pigul. The pigul remains whether he did it b'shagi, whether he did it b'mezid. It's a pigul. If you're saying that he's the messenger and the agent from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I understand where a person can come in and destroy somebody else's animal. But if he's my agent, I told him to do it. Am I pigul? It shouldn't work at all. I don't care how many thoughts he had. It shouldn't have any effect at all. Why? Because the Yisrael could tell the Kohen, there's always a concept. You didn't do my shlichus. I made you an agent to bring me a carbon. You had no right to think a bad thought, and therefore you're not my agent. If you're not my agent, it's not chal. That nikuda of a pigul, the pigul shouldn't be chal. So you see from here that what? He's an agent of Hashem. Amri shanigab pigul the makro lo yichashev loy mikol makam. There's a special xeris akasov. 3 words lo yichashev loy. The Rosh over here on the side brings the Gemara that we read it lo yachshav. It's a Gemara. A Rishon can't say this, but this is how Moshe Rabbeinu gave it to us on Har Sinai. That the word lo yichashev is read. You could interpret it lo yachshav. Right? It's not something we could come up with or any human being could come up with. This is from Har Sinai. Lo yachshav. You shouldn't think any kind of thought in any circumstance, even when I'm a shliach, and you have the right to say, I still have the right to ruin it with my mind because it says in the Torah I can ruin it in my mind. Every time you bring a carbon for somebody, it has to be with consent, besides the category of mechusar kapara. So over here we have a concept called Donim Efshar Mishi Efshar. What does that mean? Rabbi say here, a new concept today. A katan cannot bring a carbon. He's an Efshar. He's not a Bal Yecholos, he doesn't have the capability. Who brings it for him? His father. So therefore I can learn for all other people in the world who have the ability, they're Efshars, that I could also bring a carbon for them without consent. I'm learning an Efshar from an Efshar. An Efshar says in the Torah, I could bring a carbon for a kid who doesn't have the ability. He's an Yachal, he's an Efshar. And I'm going to learn to the rest of the Torah for all the people that are Efshars. Says the Gemara, if that's the case, Chatas chelev is this right over here. A chatas chelev is a regular carbon chatas. It's called the chatas chelev because most of the time when people bring korbanos, it's because, not the Michal Shabbos, it's because they ate the wrong food. They thought that this piece of meat is not chelev and had some chelev in it, they bring. So a typical carbon chatas is called a carbon chelev. A chatas chelev. Now, by a chatas chelev, shekain odam mevi alish de shaita, ki Rabbi Yehuda. We learned on the end of Amud Beis that a husband has the right to bring a carbon for his wife. It doesn't matter what carbon it is. It says at the end, the Rebbe says, V'chol carbon is shechayeves. Any carbon in the world, it says in the end of Lamed on the base, right? 2 lines from the bottom. Including a carbon chatas. She is a shaita. She's not capable. So she's an EFshar. Just like I learned from a child who's an EFshar to adults who are Efshar, I can learn from a shaita who's an EFshar, the husband can bring, to an adult who's an Efshar. So I could bring a carbon chatas for an adult. The same logic that you have by... Why Pesach? What, a shaita? She can do anything herself. But he's mechuyev to bring, we're talking about a shaita here. What? And what if she becomes a nishtapa? She became smart again. We're going to see in a second. Okay, let's see. Maybe the Gemara will talk a little bit about Yisvar. Says Gemara, Alma, but we know the halacha is if I designate a chatas for my friend, it doesn't work. Why not? We should learn Efshar, Mishi Efshar. We should learn a person who's capable of bringing a chatas, somebody else should bring it for him. Why? Because we have a case of a woman, a wife, who's a shaita, whose husband could bring it for her, even she's an Efshar. She's an Efshar, so we should learn an Efshar from an Efshar. Ishtay shaita ichidami. By the way, this is the famous Maisa right over here. This is the story. The guy had a discussion with the Rebbeinu Shalom. He said, Rebbeinu Shalom, I completely understand why you made my wife literally perfect. She's capable and she has the best midas in the world and she's great. You did that, so I should want to marry her. But why in the world did you make her a shaita? And all of a sudden you got a message from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I made her a shaita, so she should agree to marry you. Ishtay shaita, hechidami. How does it work? Ida achlak she shaita labas karbani. If she ate, if what happened? She was over an Aveira when? When was she over the Aveira? If she's over the Aveira when she's a shaita never brings a carbon. They don't have das. No carbon. Lavas carbon. But what are you going to say that she ate it when she was well and then later on she became crazy? A person who ate chelev. We have a concept. She was smart. She was normal. And then whatever happened there, she lost it. And then she became good again. The halacha is pasul. The carbon is pasul. Why? Once it's rejected, the carbon is rejected, it's nitcha, you can't bring it. At the time that she's a shaita, it's no good. So that's it, you can't bring it. So any time that she becomes a shaita, that's it. She's parted from a carbon. So what's going on here? So your whole question, right? So this Ishlei Shaita is not possible. Ask the Gemara, okay, what about a carbon Pesach? We have a real carbon Pesach in the kitchen, I don't know where it is, but here's the new carbon Pesach with a beard and payas. It's a goat, but it's a carbon Pesach. Fine. It's ripped off from somewhere. It's not 100% original. The beard and the payas are very original. Why is it that a carbon Pesach you can't bring for your friend? Now, what's the good question going to be? The question is going to be, let's learn I can bring a carbon Pesach for my children without their consent, so anybody should be able to bring for an adult as well. Here we go. Why? So, the Gemara is asking that we learn from this pasuk, Sela Beis Avos, one father brings for his entire family, including his kids. It doesn't mean you mechuyev to bring for your children, and that you could prove from here that they don't need consent. It's not a chiyuv. So if it's not a chiyuv, I can't prove anything else. I can't bring another carbon. I can't bring a carbon Pesach for an adult based on this pasuk. This pasuk is not telling me that I have to bring a carbon for my children. If this pasuk told me I have to bring for efshars, so then I'll learn efshar from efshar. But the pasuk is not telling me that. A person says, I'm going to bring a carbon Pesach, whoever gets to Yerushalayim first. One kid stuck his head into Yerushalayim, he gets a part of the carbon Pesach. Unbelievable. He has the ability to give it to his brothers also. Now, if you're telling me this cotton has a chiyuv d'oraisa to be part of your carbon, this carbon is shechted already. It's on the floor. The only time you can be part of somebody's carbon Pesach is when he's still alive. When the carbon is still alive. You have to be part of, how does it work? You have a carbon Pesach, you have a goat, a sheep, and you say, who wants to be part of this? You make a group, but they all have to be part of the group, and the animal has to be alive. You can't be part of a group once the animal is dead. So then, if so, what is the father saying here? If he's not part of this midaraisa, then why is the father saying whoever comes first will be zoicha? Says the Gemara, "Kedei lezarzim b'mitzvahs," that the kids should be used to be running to the Beis Hamikdash, learning how to love mitzvahs, going to the mitzvah. I said this many times. I'll say it again. My father, when I was a child, he woke us up early in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, to go to Crown Heights to do kaparas, fire tugs, early in the morning. Now, I'm looking at it now. I wouldn't do this to my children. But at the end of the day, I think it gave us a certain appreciation. He took me to the store to buy sleeping bags for the sukkah. It was going to be a very cold sukkah. Sleeping bags, heavy pajamas, the 3 layers. I believe, and I discussed it with the Chevra on the safari, I think it instilled in me a certain appreciation for mitzvahs. Like I remember till this day, I loved it. We bought the sleeping bags, so we're going to sleep in the sukkah. We went for kaparas. Today I don't even do kaparas on chickens anymore. But that idea stuck in my head, to wake up early in the morning. It's something you can teach your children. Okay? He's supposed to be mechanech your kids for Torah and mitzvahs. There's a story that the girls made it to Yerushalayim before the boys. Now what should it say? It should say, whoever came first wins, and they are part of the carbon, the other ones are not part of the carbon. That's not what it says. It says everybody was part of the carbon, just the boys were a little bit lazier than the girls. So you see that it's not a deraisa, they're all part of it, great. It says in the Mishnah that a Kohen who's mudrana, the Kohen is not allowed to benefit the Yisrael, yet he's permitted to take trumas and maisris for the Yisrael. Just in time, 5 minutes left. Amud Beis. Unbelievable. Yeah. Much easier and shorter throughout shas. The second time around, Beis Hashem, we're going to focus on Amud Beis. Iboilu, hatorah misheloya shechaveroi, tzorach daitoi erloi. Sponsored by Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP. This was being able to support limud hatorah and finish shas with the rebellion. Check this out, Rabbi Isai. Here we have a potato head who's a kohen.
Gadol.
It's a kohen gadol. Now, a potato, we understand, is a food.
Obviously.
A potato, you mechuyev to mafresh trumas midrabanan only, okay? Midaraisa, it's wheat, but just lahamchish hadavar, this is a kohen potato head. Why? Because what happened is, there's a pile of potatoes on the left, and Yossi Klein, Shalom Aleichem, Rav Yossi, everybody, give him a big round of applause. Look, he's here in the house. Yossi Klein, Kedarke B'Kodesh. Here, I didn't think about this before. I'm thinking about it now. Noam, this is a true story, Noam. Your teacher went to recruit girls in America during COVID, and she got stuck there. A random man by the name of Yossi Klein sent her his credit card. Do whatever you want on the credit card, I don't care. And she took him up on it. She swiped it and swiped it. He never met this woman in his life. He made sure that she felt comfortable because she's related to somebody from MDY. So Yossi Klein goes ahead. Mamish makes sense, this whole story now. He went and he decided to do somebody a favor. He took from his own pile. You see, that pile is Yossi Klein's pile. And he took this and he gave it to Dr. Factor. In this case, you see, Mamish, he took his medicine, he's calm, everything's gewaldig. So, everything. This is Mamish. This is before he joined this year. Look at your MDY tie, Dr. Factor. Look at this. Wait for it.
Double dose.
Okay, so anyway, Yossi Klein goes ahead, gives this to the Levi. This is Meiser, 10%. Truma is 2%. Lo mishaneh. Truma, Meiser, the same thing. Hatorah mishalaya shechaveri, he takes from his own pile. Tzorach daitoi eloi. Does he need the consent of Binyamin Schwartz all the way to the left, the owner? There's a question. Could I be Zaycha, Mizaka, somebody not in front? Could I acquire a gift? I find something in the street. I say, I'm picking it up, I'm Zayching it for my friend Avi. Could I do that or not? I need his das. Now, what's the shaila? Me, I'm reading even this chusula, das. Well, I'm doing him a great favor. Look how much fruit I saved him. All those potatoes on the right, he didn't have to spend and give to the kohen or to the Levi. So you don't need his consent. Oidilma mitzvah delay. What do you mean? I want the mitzvah. I want to do the mitzvah. There's a Maisa Shahaya, or Kamat Haya, Yachal Liyais. There was a guy that put together a Petr Chamar. He worked really, really hard to get the two Chamarim that never had a baby before, the woman, the female, and then she had a baby, and it was a Zachar finally. If one time it messed up, it was in a cave, so he had bought another one. Finally, after 3 years, he has the Petr Chamar. He advertised in the newspapers. Whoever wants should give him $100. He had 1,000 people. He's not. And they bring you look online. Pictures, gold, silver, the Rebbe is about to show up. A guy comes over to the Kohen. Here, I'm paid to the Chamar, here's my $100. He ruined it for everybody. Ruined it. He's Zachan Ladim Shalom B'fanav. I just gave the Kohen $100. I did it for you. I just redeemed the donkey. What's wrong? He said, let's. He ruined it. Nobody had a schus over there. If it ever happened, this Maisa. So, they say it did. I'm serious. So maybe it's a mitzvah. I want to do the mitzvah. Who asked you to get involved there? Toshma, what does it say in our Mishnah? That a kohen is permitted to do his truma and his meiser l'daitoi, with his consent. Whose consent? What? The kohen or the Yisrael? Who is it? I mean, not the kohen. Yossi Klein, the nice guy, or Binyamin Schwartz, the also very nice guy, but the owner of the Kri. Ilema min balakri al shel balkri. Who owned it? If you're going to tell me it was one pile, you see, one pile, completely owned by Binyamin Schwartz from the 5 towns, the dentist, and Yossi Klein, the big tzaddik, decided to take some of Binyamin Schwartz's fruit without asking him and give it to the Levi or the Kohen. Well, the daita the man, and what does it mean it was with his consent? Ilay the daita delay was Yossi Klein's own das, the shliach's das. Man shavi shliach. Who asked you? It says in the pasuk, "Kein terimu gam atem." You can make a shliach, but it has to be with consent. Ella. So the word das in our Mishnah, Ladaita the Balakri. So that must mean that Binyamin Schwartz, all the way to the left, he's the one, the owner of the pile, he's the one that gave him consent. And he said, Yossi, do me a favor. You're passing by my field, take a bunch of potato heads and give it to the Kohen. He did it with his consent. But wait a minute. Anytime somebody does something for you, says the Ran, anytime, you hear this? Anytime, if you tell somebody, do me a favor, take this tissue, throw it in the garbage, you're doing his shlichus, that's hana for the guy that sent you. You're his agent, that's hana. We're talking about people that are also hana. Binyamin Schwartz cannot benefit from Yossi Klein. And he told him, go, do me a favor, pick up a bunch of fruit, they're heavy, schlep it over there, go over there, you're going anyways to Brooklyn, bring it over. That's hana. How could he have hana from him? He's doing his shlichus. Ella, mishalah, yashel kri. No, so we must go back to the next case. The case is it's his own fruit. Yossi Klein was being a tzaddik, he's giving from his own potatoes. Uladaita deman. Now, what does it mean? Whose consent? Now, if the owner of the large pile agrees to this, he's benefiting. He doesn't have to give his own fruit. This mamish hana, he's saving him cash. That whole pile on the right is what he's saving because he would have had to come out of his pile. It means that Yossi Klein himself had das to do it. And he's taking from his own fruit and he's giving it for his friend. But if Binyamin Schwartz has to agree to it, the guy, the owner of the real pile, has to agree, you see from here. So again, the question of the Gemara was, if I take from my own fruit and I give to my friend, and I give for my friend, do I need his consent or not? You see over here, you don't need consent, because if you do have consent, then you gave him hana, and it would be usher to do. Says the Gemara, we're talking about the simple case of it's one pile owned all by the same guy, the dentist from the 5 towns. It's talking about a case where he just announces. He doesn't ask Yossi Klein. It's very different. If he asks Yossi Klein to do it, then he's having hana. Because then Yossi Klein is doing his shlichus, he's his agent. Anytime somebody's your agent, that's your hana. You're not allowed to benefit. You're muda hana from him. But he gave a general statement, he threw it out in the air. Let's see, I have it here. If a guy says, you are my shliach, take truma for me, red, aser, not good. If the guy says green, that's what the Gemara says over here. He just screams out, makes an announcement. Whoever wants to be nice to me, I'm not telling you, I'm just making a general announcement. Whoever wants to do it for me is welcome to do it for me. I'm not going to be makbid, not like the Petach Hamar. Over here, I don't care about the mitzvah. Then it's okay. That's the chiddush. Adds the Ran. But if he says the lashon in the middle, that's a little bit more direct. And that's aser. That doesn't work if you're mudar hana. Have a wonderful day. Shkoyach.